Welcome back to the Sun and Life podcast. Today we are talking about something that most people underestimate. Something that affects your mindset, your habits, your standards, your confidence, your decisions, and ultimately your future. And that is this: the people around you are shaping your future. Whether you realize it or not, or whether it's intentional or not, and whether you want to admit it or not. The people you spend the most time around have influence over who you are becoming. And that's why this conversation matters, because most people are extremely careful about what they eat, they are careful about where they spend money, they are careful about what they post online, but they are not careful enough about who they allow close to them. And sometimes that's the thing holding them back the most. Let's start here. Human beings adapt. It's what we do. We adapt to environments, we adapt to standards, we adapt to expectations, and we adapt to the people around us. The longer you are around something, the more normal it becomes. That's true for habits, that's true for mindsets, and that's definitely true for people. First truth: you become comfortable with what you are consistently exposed to. Think about that. If you are constantly around people who complain, complaining will start to feel normal. If you are constantly around people who procrastinate, procrastination starts to feel acceptable. If you are constantly around people who avoid responsibility, responsibility starts feeling optional. You may not consciously choose those behaviors, but exposure influences perception, and perception influences action. Second, your standards are often borrowed. Most people think their standards come entirely from themselves, but that is not always true. A lot of what you consider normal comes from the people around you: their work ethic, their discipline, their ambition, their habits, and their expectations. Over time, those things influence what you accept from yourself. That's why your environment matters so much, because it quietly shapes your standards. Third, negative influence is usually subtle. This is important. The people who hold you back aren't always obvious. They are not always trying to hurt you. Sometimes they are your friends. Sometimes they are people you've known for years. Sometimes they are good people, but if they are committed to staying the same and you are committed to growing, eventually there's going to be tension because growth changes things. Fourth, some people normalize mediocrity, not because they are bad people, but because that's the level they are comfortable operating at. They don't push themselves, they don't challenge themselves, they don't strive for more. And if you're around that long enough, you will start to lowering your own expectations without even realizing it, because average just becomes normal. Fifth, energy is contagious. Mindset spread, attitude spreads, work ethic spreads, negativity spreads, optimism spreads, discipline spreads, excuses spread. You absorb more than you think. And that is why your circle matters, because eventually you start reflecting what you're consistently around. Now, let's go deeper, because this goes beyond motivation, it affects your identity. Sixth, the people around you influence what you believe is possible. If nobody around you has big goals start feeling unrealistic. If nobody around you is disciplined, discipline starts feeling extreme. If nobody around you is improving, growth starts feeling unnecessary. But when you're surrounded by people who push themselves, your perspective changes. You start realizing what is possible, and that changes everything. Seventh, your conversations shape your thinking. Think about the topics that dominate your conversations, and are they focused on growth, ideas, improvement, goals, or are they focused on drama, complaints, gossip, and negativity? Because what you consistently talk about eventually becomes what you consistently think about. And what you consistently think about influences your actions. Eighth, support matters more than people realize. Growth is difficult enough on its own. It's even harder when the people around you constantly doubt you, mock your goals, question your ambition, or discourage your progress. You don't need everyone to understand your vision, but having supported people around you makes a huge difference because encouragement creates momentum. Ninth, some relationships are built around old versions of you. This is where things become difficult. People get attached to who you used to be, and when you start changing, they sometimes will resist it. Not because they hate you, but because change disrupts familiarity, and familiarity feels safe, so they try to pull you back toward the version they know, the version that's easier for them to understand. 10th, not everyone is meant to go where you are going. That is the hard truth. Some people are only part of certain chapters of your life, and that is okay. Growth often creates separation, not because you are better than anyone, but because your direction changes. And not everyone wants to travel the same path. Now, here's another truth. A lot of people stay connected to the environments they've already outgrown because leaving feels uncomfortable, because distance feels uncomfortable, because growth sometimes requires difficult decisions. But staying in the wrong environment has consequences too. And those consequences often show up as stagnation. Another thing, success is rarely an individual achievement. People love the idea of self made success, but most successful people have strong influences around them: mentors, friends, coaches, family members, business partners, positive environments, people who challenge them to become better. The right people accelerate growth. And honestly, one of the fastest ways to change your life is to change your environment because environment influences behavior, behavior influences results, and results influences your future. Sometimes the breakthrough you are looking for isn't a new strategy, it's a different circle. Let's talk about accountability. Because good people don't just support you, they will challenge you, hold you accountable, and call out your excuses. They will remind you of your standards, and that's valuable because growth requires honesty, not just encouragement. 11th, pay attention to how you feel after spending time with people. Do you feel motivated, focused, inspired, and encouraged? Or do you feel drained, negative, distracted, unfocused? Those feelings matter because they are signals and they tell you a lot about influence. 12. You don't need a huge circle. You need the right circle. A small group of people with strong values can have more positive impact than a large group with none. Quality matters more than quantity, every time. 13th, you should protect your future the same way you protect your health. You wouldn't willingly consume things that damage your body every day. So, why constantly surround yourself with influences that damage your mindset? The people around you affect your future just as much as your habits do, sometimes even more. 14th, you have influence too. This conversation isn't only about what others do to you, it's also about what you bring into other people's lives. Your attitude matters, your standards matter, your habits matter. You're influencing someone too. So become the kind of person who elevates others, not someone who will drag them down. 15th, your future is being shaped right now through conversations, environments, friendships, influences, and daily exposure. And every day you are either moving closer to the person you want to become or further away. That's why who you spend time with matters so much. Here is the reality: the people around you won't completely determine your future. You still have responsibility. still make choices, but they influence the direction more than most people realize. And if you're serious about ascending, you need to be intentional about who gets access to your time, your energy, and your attention. Because influence compounds, just like habits, just like discipline, just like growth. So, ask yourself this: who is influencing your mindset right now? Who is shaping your standards? Who is encouraging your growth? And who's holding you back? Be honest, because your environment matters, your circle matters, and the people closest to you are helping shape the future you are moving toward. Choose carefully, protect your standards, and surround yourself with people who make growth feel normal. I will catch you in the next episode of Ascend. See ya.